All right, Money Vikings, Money Viking G back here with a very important message, especially for the audience in their 20s and 30s and early 40s. Really any age, but it's really key for those age groups, and I'll tell you why. This is coming from a 30-year now veteran of investing. You get about 3 or 4 really big opportunities in your investing career. And what I mean by opportunity, I mean like global freakouts. Okay. If you are Gen X like me, you've been investing for a few decades now, and we've gone through 9/11, the dot-com bust, the Great Recession, the COVID-19 pandemic, blah, 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 on and on. Those are probably the biggest ones. But essentially what I'm talking about is the market totally overreacts. And so now we have the same thing happening right now in real time with the conflict in the Middle East. Is the conflict in the Middle East a serious thing? Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to affect everyone? Yes, absolutely. It's already affecting everyone. Gas prices are through the roof. There's really no sign of that slowing down. We'll see. Time will tell. And it is affecting equity prices, and that basically is a ripple effect through the entire economy. We may even go to recession. It's all very possible. But here's what you have to keep in mind. If you are a long-term wealth builder, long-term investor, like I said, especially in your 20s and 30s and early 40s, this is important for people beyond that too. But a lot of times, if you're past that age, you're probably a little bit more in a wealth preservation, capital preservation, a little bit more in a protective status, probably with a more exposure to bonds. But here's the point. At those ages, a lot of times you don't have a lot of disposable money. But if you are dollar cost averaging, if you are automating your investments every couple of weeks, during these times, you're buying a lot more shares. So you're buying a lot of shares at a discounted price because the market has freaked out, right? So things are going down, asset prices are going down, on and on. So these end up being very good market opportunities. Now, I'm not talking about timing the market. Now, if a person is sitting in a pile of cash, if I was sitting with a pile of cash, this would be a time that I would be strategically deploying it as the market goes down, because I would see it as a situation where I'm able to buy quality assets on discount because everyone is sort of freaking out. So we typically get about 3 or 4 of these big opportunities in our investing life. And I would say that we're most likely in one at the moment or entering it. So just food for thought. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if you think about it, the alternative is everyone just hides under a rock and you don't do anything and, the world comes to a stop. But that's usually not how these things work out. They do play out. There are problems. These are serious issues, but things typically get ironed out over time. And so hopefully that will be the case in this situation. Hopefully that will be the case just for the peace of humanity and for peace for people. And so people are safe and able to live productive, safe lives. That is the overarching goal, of course, and the overarching vision that we should all have and pray for. But at the other end of this, in terms of just pure investing, these typically end up being very good market opportunities. Take care. Bye.